The focus on power emancipates the study of politics from the status of an appendage and elevates it to a level equal to the study of philosophy or history or law. It also transcends the realm of formal institutions to focus on real motives and objectives of human beings which lie behind all political activity and institution building. In this chapter we will study perspective of power sharing in Belgium. Belgium location. Belgium is a small country located in Western Europe.
Of the country's total population, 59% lives in the Flemish region and speaks Dutch language. Another 40% people live in the Wallonia region and speak French. Remaining 1% of the Belgians speak German. In the capital city Brussels, 80% people speak French while 20% are Dutch speaking. Ethnic nationalism in Belgium. Ethnic nationalism in Belgium stemmed out of the fact that the minority French-speaking community was relatively affluent and powerful. This was resented by the Dutch-speaking community, which actually led to the tensions between the Dutch-speaking and French-speaking communities during the 1950s and 1960s. The tension between the two communities was more acute in Brussels. Brussels presented a special problem. The Dutch-speaking people constituted a majority in the country but a minority in the capital. Constitutional amendments of Belgium. Between 1970 and 1993, Belgium amended its constitution 4 times. This was done to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. The following are some of the elements of the Belgian model. The number of Dutch and French-speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Special laws require the support of majority of members from each linguistic group. No single community can make decisions unilaterally. Many powers of the central government have been given to the state governments. The state governments are not subordinate to the central government. Brussels has a separate government in which both the communities have equal representation. Apart from the central and the state government, there is a third kind of government elected by people belonging to one language community, Dutch, French and German speaking, no matter where they live. This government has the power regarding cultural, educational and language-related issues. Such arrangements have helped to avoid civic strife between the two major communities and a possible division of the country on linguistic lines.
Power sharing from Sri Lankan perspective. Location of Sri Lanka. The Democratic Social Republic of Sri Lanka is to be found in South Asia. It comprises one large island and several much smaller ones situated in the Indian Ocean, about 80 kilometers east of the southern tip of India. Like other countries of the South Asian region, Sri Lanka has an ethnically diverse population. The most influential ethnic groups are Sinhala, 74%, and Tamil, nearly 18%. Further, the Tamil groups are fragmented into subgroups, the Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils. Linguistic composition. Sinhala and Tamil are the two officially recognized languages. Sinhala is spoken by more than 75% of the population. Tamil was made the second official language in 1988, which is spoken by 25% of population.
Majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. After gaining independence in 1948, the democratically elected government of Sri Lanka adopted the following majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. In 1956, passed an act to recognize Sinhala as the only official language, thus disregarding Tamil. The government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university positions and government jobs. A new constitution stipulated that the state shall protect and foster Buddhism. Such government's measures gradually increased the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. They felt that the constitution and government policies denied them equal political rights, discriminated against them in getting jobs and other opportunities, and ignored their interests. Consequently, the relations between the Sinhala and Tamil communities strained over time, and the distrust between the two communities turned into a civil war. As a result of this, thousands of people of both the communities were killed. Many families were forced to leave the country as refugees, and many more lost their livelihoods. The civil war had caused a terrible setback to the social, cultural and economic life of the country. Why power sharing is desirable? The following set of reasons can be given in favor of power sharing. Firstly, it helps to reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups. The dominance of the majority over the minority undermines the unity of the nation. Further, tyranny of the majority brings ruin to the majority as well. Secondly, power sharing is the very spirit of democracy. A democratic rule involves sharing power with those affected by its exercise and who have to live with its effects. People have a right to be consulted on how they are to be governed. A legitimate government is one where citizens, through participation, acquire a stake in the system. Forms of power sharing. In modern democracies, power sharing arrangements can take many forms. Firstly, power is shared among different organs of the government such as the legislature, executive and judiciary. Such a horizontal distribution of power ensures that none of the organs exercise unlimited power, and this results in a balance of power among various institutions. Secondly, power can be shared vertically among governments at different levels, a general government for the entire country and governments at the provincial or regional level. In India, we refer to it as the central or union government. The governments at the provincial or regional level are called state governments. Thirdly, power may also be shared among different social groups such as the religious and linguistic groups. This type of arrangement is meant to give space in the government and administration to diverse social groups who otherwise would feel alienated from the government. Fourthly, power sharing arrangements can also be seen in the way political parties, pressure groups and movements control or influence those in power. The competition among various contenders for power ensures that power does not remain in one hand and represent different ideologies and social groups.